The situation is complex. It requires healing. Everyone needs to calm the temper. But Manipur continues to burn. The tribal community is demanding the implementation of president's rule in the state. On the other hand, people say that the Meiteis also say that first disarmament needs to take place because the state has become aflush with weapons. And the division is so deep that even organizations which are centrally rooted in Delhi, for example, Akhil Bharatiya Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, an RSS affiliate body, it has also jumped into the fray. He has said that we will build broken homes, but the fact is that parties which have no immediate concern in the state have also started to speak up. MLAs have been attacked. MLAs' residences have been attacked. Miscreants have burned down the official residence of Manipur Minister Nemcha Kipgen in Imphal West. The incident took place on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. This comes a day after 9 people were killed and 10 injured after miscreants attacked a village in the Khamenlok area under Kangpokei district. Miscreants opened fire and carried out arson attacks in the villages. Meanwhile, opposition too is leaving no chances. Nothing to chance. Congress has said that the government needs to do more. The double-engine government has failed. Now, I really don't want to get into what people in Delhi are thinking because our program is about Manipur and people of Manipur. Verghese, tell me, more than 45 days of this conversation in Manipur, do you think that the state government has been able to live up to its expectations?
Well, it doesn't seem that they have been able to get anything on the ground running because today also we were getting reports saying that when the army or the paramilitary personnel were moving from one place to the other, they were faced with resistance from the state bureaucracy in many ways, sometimes non-cooperation with the demands that they have, to the point where the Indian Express today had in fact put out a story saying that the army as well as the police forces were having an argument to the point where they started to cock their guns. So this is the level at which resistance that they are facing, and from one place to the other they are also seeing a series of protests. So when it comes to the state government, well, it looks like the lower bureaucracy is not being able to provide as much as they are supposed to provide on the ground, and that is the cause of concern because we are all dependent on them. So no matter how much of soldiers we airlift, no matter how much of supplies we put into the state, they are the ones who are supposed to be on the ground and providing the kind of support we have to have. And it seems that this bureaucracy is the one that is highly polarized, and that is stopping from the actual work on the ground, whether it is peace, whether it is for the law enforcement to take place, being affected completely.
Sir, I would like to ask you point blank, what is going wrong? Why has Peace Committee come a cropper? And should disarmament happen first or the president's rule?
Kartika, thank you for being invited into the panel discussion. We also like to participate in the kind of discussion which we are having because we will get your ground reality what is going on in the state. In fact, disarmament will not easily come because the arms have been held by people who defend themselves. Without the arms, they think they will die, they will be attacked. There was hardly any presence of security. It is promised by the Constitution in the way people believe a government should protect its citizens. Secondly, I'll come to the point where it went wrong. It went wrong on the third day when there was a visiting dignitary in the state, the Vice President in India. All the top brass police officials, government attentions were given to the visit of the Vice President when there was the action rally in Churasanpur headquarters escorted by armed guards, the armed militants. The DC, what he was doing at that time, we do not know exactly whether he warned the government that around 11:30, 11 o'clock they started the rally. It ended around 1 o'clock. And what message he kept from Churasanpur to the city is hardly one hour, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 20 minutes to do so. So any forces from nearby, from Kota, there is a village, where nearby only 15 minutes there is a posting of army and the cantonments, and there are a lot of the security forces around that area. It was in rush to the Ratanpur area to get rid of all what is going to happen. Then secondly, around 1 o'clock, it started doing, the violence started doing here and there. The skillnesses, the counter-blocking done in Moirang by some politicians, local politicians, maybe at the behest of the government, we do not know, but it is being claimed. So the sentiments were, I think, around 2 o'clock. By 2 o'clock, the attack started, community delays, then started spreading by 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, the vandalization started, and indiscriminately it went, started spreading to Mure, then to other places, Kankope and other places. Suddenly by 3:30 o'clock, the whole thing has been burning. But then the government was not aware of it. When the vice president left in Pali, it was around 5 o'clock. It has become almost too late because the fire was spreading. The attack was spreading and the counter-attack, everything neutralized and everything has been positioned properly. Then second day also, the government did not do anything to stop the violence. It could have stopped there on the port if they prepared or eager to do that. Then it extended up to 5th. By 5th, it is beyond any control. Now, at the moment, I'm coming to the position where we are. The villagers are defending with arms. They either been given away voluntarily by the police stations or by the battalion. We do not know exactly. No one has seen it. But how could, from different police stations, arms could be snatched by civilians without any arms? Unarmed civilians, how could they snatch those arms from the police stations or the battalion? So it is very, very unfortunate thing, and the security forces, instead of them themselves protecting the citizens, they could not do that. And instead of that, they delivered the arms to the citizens. Then it has come to this position. So government, I come to the point that this committee that has been formed, this is also another disaster. Because there are people of questioning integrity because they are doubted to have sentiment against the state. They have been put into that. They are uninvited members of the members are put in the peace committee. Many of the peace committee members have actually has no track record of having experience in dealing in situations of like this. So the peace committee has to be effective. Composed of, there are some good people, of course, there, but they are minuscule, very small quantity. So therefore, I must say that disarmament will happen only when there is a sign of peace coming and that there is a trust on the security, there is a trust on the government. See, the government is not functioning well because whether there is Article 355, whether there is no Article 355, they say we do not
Devbratji,
know.
I think that's Devbratji, you made a point on which I would like to get other people in because that, you made a very strong point on how disarmament may fructify. But your focus was how. Professor Bhagat, you wrote an editorial today. I read the editorial. Why do you argue that disarmament is required before the president's rule? Why is it fundamentally important for things to stabilize? Can you take our viewers through? Can you take us through the editorial you wrote?
Yeah, I mean, president's rule is not the issue. I mean, Biren Singh is not the issue really. If you talk in terms of how the state is to function at the moment or how it is functioning, already there is a security advisor and who is directly under the Home Ministry, central government. So it is as good as president's rule in many ways. Already paramilitary forces are there. So it's not the issue at the moment. The moment what we need to do is disarm all the militants, both in the valley as well as in the hills. Unless you do this, no matter whether it is a president rules or other, sporadic violence is going to continue. This is my reading, the way things have been happening in the last few days. So people are very angry at one level. Those who are suffering, they do suffer and their voices are very meek. Those who want peace, their voices are also very meek, very small number, no doubt. And many are unable to speak out. So in order for sane voices to come up, what we need to do is stop those who are potential troubleshooters. And these troubleshooters are those who are with guns, arms in their hands. Whether it is Sud militants in the hills, or it is charge of peoples among the Métis who are up in arms, whether they are stolen arms or they are what you call licensed gun. It amounts to the same because you have firearms in your hands. So this has to be stopped. Unless you stopped it, uh, whatsoever forms of government you call, it is not going to help.
So you are saying that it's not going to help. My colleague Verghese had a very important point that army is not being assisted properly because of complete polarization of the lower bureaucracy. Professor Bhagat, do you agree with that?
See, there is a point you must have heard in Sero areas in Sugnu, where Assam Rifles came and almost blocked the gate of the police station. And almost both the parties were up in arms, a bit less than uh, trigger shooting at each other, you know. So that was the kind of tension that happened. I also remember at the initial stage, uh, Mr. Kuldeep Singh, who is the security advisor, had this plan that all the paramilitary forces will be attached with Manipur police, so that it is a combined force which operates. And so far as I learned, that Assam Rifles was against that plan. Perhaps time has come to revisit the combined, uh, what you call operation or functioning of the security forces, whichever the command it may be under. But there should be, I am no one to say who will lead, but certainly there are experts, they are in the police as well as in the military fraternity, the captains, the commanders of Assam, and you have the security advisor who is an IPS officer. So they are the best people to decide how this combined forces are to be, operationally functioning. But that should be checked out. That should be a way in which, uh, whatever polarization you see, if you put them together under a command combined, perhaps the discipline and falling in line may come up.